Hello, everybody, and welcome to Outlook Tips and Tricks. This is an hour of tips that hopefully you'll be able to use right away. If you're on this webinar, you're probably using Outlook already, so that's fantastic that you'll be able to use this. Now, my version of Outlook might look a little different than your version. The things we're going to be going through today, though, should apply to all your versions. Maybe it's a different kind of looking button. Maybe it's under a different ribbon tab or something, but hopefully you'll be able to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch screens here, and you should be able to see my Outlook screen. I'm going to just start by experimenting a little bit with the way that my screen looks. And this part's not in the book because maybe yours is already like what I'm suggesting on mine, but there's lots of room to write some notes if you want. I'm going to go into my view, and I'm just going to do a quick disclaimer here. Notice mine says joanne@outlook.com on the left-hand side. What that's about is a long time ago, Microsoft created this outlook.com domain, and I heard about it, and they said, yeah, you'll be able to, go on and do a new one, and a new email address. And I thought, you know what, I kind of want like a secondary one that is like a junk collector. If something wants my email address, I don't want to give them my good one in case I start getting spammed. So I created this one, and I was really surprised that I was the first Joanne in the whole world to get joanne@outlook.com. Now I'm not so sure that was a good idea. Look at how many emails I get in this email. I have 14,000 emails in here. None of them are for me. Every Joanne in the world, I think, thinks they have joanne@outlook.com. So there'll be some emails today that it might say something, like this person is, okay, here's some forms, that, when you start working. And no, this is from, I think this one's from New Zealand. I'm not applying for work in New Zealand. So don't worry about, gee, she's got her personal email up in front of her. No, this is not me. Okay. So I am not that crazy to put that up there. And also, I don't want you ever to worry about privacy. If you and I communicate, I don't ever want you to worry about that. Your email will show up in front of, we have 67 people online today. Okay, good. If you are communicating with me today, please use the chat. I have you all muted, and that just because there's so many people online that we want to, we don't want any background noise and things like that. So if you want to communicate, do that. Type your questions. If I ignore your question, I've glanced at it, and I'll cover it. I plan on covering it. All right, but if you have questions, please don't use the Q&A, use the chat, because I don't want two places to look. I have my chat window open on my other monitor here, and that's good. Okay, enough housekeeping. We're going to click on view. We're not going to go through all of the things on here, but what I do want to do is go through these things over here. What is a folder pane? A folder pane is the thing on your left-hand side here. I talk about that mostly because people hide it by mistake. They might click on this little button up here. You guys see that? If you click on that by mistake, it will go away. And it's kind of down here, if you know to look down there, but you might think, hey, man, how do I get up my sent items? How do I get my other things? And so you can go and click on this guy to expand it. But if you kind of, don't really remember how you got rid of it, then you might not know how to do that. So in your view folder pane, and mine's minimized right now, I can say normal. And there's some other things that you can experiment with on your own as well. We'll be turning ours off in a minute, so keep that in mind. On other versions, it used to be called the navigation pane. So you might see that in your version. The other part is the reading pane. And that's the part on the right-hand side here where I'm seeing that this person has, seeing what they have typed. I can click and I can look, and I can click and I can look. I used to really like that. Now I have so many emails that come in, I want to just go to one, double click on it and have it open it up. I don't want to wait for it and that kind of thing. Also, it gives me more information about who it went to and CCing and things like that. So I'm going to show you, it's on the right now. I'm going to put it on the bottom. Now it's on the bottom. This is closer to what I want because I really want columns. I really want to work with columns today. And so I'm going to go reading pane. I'm just going to turn it off for now. Just going to turn it off. Yeah. And look at all the things that I can see now. I can see from and subject and received and size and categories. And if I right click, I can go on to this thing called Field Chooser. And I can even drag more columns to my bar at the top. Here's an idea. Not sure if it's really good in my inbox like this, but I have done this. I'm going to grab my to, T-O, and I'm going to drag it up here. You can see how I can drag it anywhere, right? And I'm going to drag it between from and subject. And this just allows me to quickly see who this has been sent to. This person, oh, it was sent to this person, Joe's hi at outlook.com. I must be CC'd, or maybe I'm another to recipient. Not really that useful here, but I'd like to be able to, you know, to show you. Look at all the different Joannes that are showing up here. All right. So you can take a look through there on your own. You can change this part up at the top here, change it to date or address or all. Contacts, I use it a lot. We might, if we get time, we'll go back into the screen when we go into our contacts because it's also really cool. Also, the main reason that I showed you this is because if you're anything like me, you click and drag stuff by mistake. So I'm going to click and drag my to field off. See the little X there? Has it ever happened where all of a sudden you don't have a from? I see in my classes all the time, and people are like, oh my goodness, I am lost without this, or they've lost their subject, or they've lost their received. Field Chooser, that was again available on a right-click Field Chooser, and you can then go and grab it. Oh, there's from. I can then go and put it back. All right, has it happened to any of you? All of a sudden it goes away. These are movable if you prefer to have your subject first. That might throw me off a little bit because it's been years and years and years of having the from. Yeah. So that's Field Chooser. I'm going to close it for now. The other thing I want to talk about as far as the columns go is the ability to sort. And this is actually the first thing in your handout is about sorting. A lot of people, when they're looking for something, they'll go up to search. Sorting is a little bit different. Sometimes I know who sent it to me, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay? Who sent it to me, and that's what I'm looking for. So let's say that I work with a girl named Mandy, and Mandy and I are, you know, we're always going back and forth on stuff, but we're also both included in other emails, maybe from our supervisor. If I go up here and I type Mandy in, I'm going to get all sorts of emails anytime Mandy was mentioned. Well, I actually just want messages from Mandy. So there's some fancy searching I can do, or watch this. I can click on from, I just click on it, and it sorts everything in my great big humongous list of 14,000 emails. It sorts by from. Now, I'm not clicking anywhere. So don't think, oh my gosh, what did she click on to do that? I just clicked on from. Now I'm just going to start typing Mandy, M-A-N. M-A-N. Why didn't she come up? Okay, let's use Mark, M-A-R. I thought I had Mandy in here, but maybe I didn't. I don't know that the email is very good in here. It looks like some Joanne out there somewhere has joined a realty property list. Who knows where? If I'm looking for Jenna, J-E-N-N. Oh, it brought me to Jennifer. There's more Jennifers. If I continue typing, it will take me to more people, right? So if I'm looking for, lots of Jennifers here. If I'm looking for Jody and I go J-O, it takes me to these people. If I go J-O-D, it takes me right to there. So I get in the habit of typing at least the first 3 letters. How fast was that, right? How many times Would you go up here and type it in? And then depending on how many emails you have, it hides all the rest of your emails and it shows you this. And the other thing I like about this is that sometimes I'll type it. I don't know if you've ever had this, but if you know somebody, same person, 2 different emails. So if that were the case, they might show up twice here. They might show up once with one email and then again with another email. Maybe it's just slightly different. Or maybe this person is, you know, Jody Brooks and the other one is Jay Brooks or something. They'll both show up, right? So you can kind of look through it. So that's kind of neat. You can also do it with the subject. So I'm going to do it with, well, I'll use the same one, listing report. Notice I just clicked off of it because if I was still clicked on it and I went to subject, it stays clicked on it, right? So I'm going to go back to from. I'm going to click away from it, which is usually what you want, but not right now because I wanted to show you it. So here's subject, LIS. Pretty close. Listing report. I don't know that you'd use the subject as much as you would use the from. What are we always sorted on? Always sorted on received. And somebody's gone on a dating site here. No, it's not me. Your home and your end keys work in this. Home takes you to something at 9:53 a.m. today, which is about a half hour ago or so. There was something. If I go end, it'll take me all the way to the end. So those keys work well. If you hit received again, and I hit home, you'll end up with your oldest one on the top and your newest one on the bottom. And I've had people, they open up their email. Yeah, I have a question, or let me find this email. And they open it up and they scroll to the bottom. You say, how come your stuff's at the bottom? And again, I don't know what I hit. I hit something. I know exactly what you hit. You hit received. So those buttons, one click does it one way and one does it the other way. Excel is kind of like that, where you can sort by one column and then do kind of a reverse sort. I'm going to go back to received and I'm going to just talk a little bit about searching. I can click up here and maybe I'm really looking for that Mandy. Man, I thought I had Mandy. I type Mandy and I get a whole bunch of things. Now, Mandy is in here somewhere, right? There she's, that's why it wasn't working. Look at what it was. I was trying to do the from on MAN, and Mandy is in here. If I had known to type WIN, then she would have come up. So that's a little bit of a flaw in our system, isn't it? This will find that. It found so many other things. So down in the bottom left-hand corner, it tells me I found 128 things. Wow. Mandy, I don't know why, is in so many of these travel zoo things, but maybe for some reason she is. So that's good to do that. I'm just going to click on inbox again. If I still couldn't find what I was looking for, before I even typed her name in, it said search current mailbox. Okay. Now what is a mailbox? A mailbox is all the mail folders in Outlook. Over on the right-hand side here, I have my choices of where I'd like to look. Do I just want to look in the current folder? The current folder is my inbox. That's where I am. If it happened to be a folder that I created, or maybe it's my sent or my deleted, I just want to look in the current folder. Do I also want to look in the subfolders? Because you might have subfolders. Okay. Do I want to look in the current mailbox? That's the default, and that's all of them. Or do I want to look in all Outlook items? What is an Outlook item? Anything. Mail items everywhere. Appointments, contacts, meetings, tasks, notes, all Outlook items. Find me anything having to do with Mandy. Okay, that's a pretty harsh search. It might take a second or two, especially with this mailbox. So you can take a look there. Now, if you don't have this little bar, as soon as I click in search, I get this one at the top. I'm going to go Mandy again, enter. And I get this one at the top here that says search tools. This is an incredible bar. I use this bar close to 1 time a day. You know what I love on this bar? Has attachments. I'm looking for a price list or something that Mandy sent me. Wow, you're going to make me go through all these things? Let's narrow our list down. Let's say has attachments. Wow, she's right there. Okay, so I love this has attachments. And notice what it's doing here. Mandy has attachments equals yes or colon yes. We can add on to that. I'm going to just clear it because I can't really search more than one there. I'm going to do Microsoft. There's probably a lot of Microsoft things in here. Look at them all. If I go back into here, I can say, show me things that were sent directly to me or not directly to me. Or I can go in here. Oh, here's my from. That would have helped me a little bit if I would have said from Mandy, and it wouldn't have needed me to put the first thing in there, right? I'm going to cancel that. And I want to show you this spot more. Look at all the things that you can search by. I can go down here and I can say, I just want to search the body. If it says Microsoft, in the body, not in the from or the subject, in the body, right? I might have to type it again. Do a quick Control X, Control V. I love throwing those little shortcuts in everywhere possible. Has to look a little harder, and most of these have Microsoft in both places, but look at this one. It's bringing it up. The other search would have as well, but I think I have a lot less now. Maybe not a lot less, but you maybe can kind of get where I'm coming from. It doesn't have to be in the subject or the from. So we can look at those and it'll stay like that. That search bar will stay like that. We can say, you know, I also want it from a certain person, importance, high priority, or whatever, or to a certain person. And you can do this in all your different folders. So you could have a different way of searching in your sent, for example. Okay. If I'm done with it, I'm going to click on the X's here and just back on inbox, and it'll take me back home, and I'm going to hit my home to end up there. Bottom of page 1. And again, if you didn't have this handout, if you came on a little bit later, this handout should have been in your reminder email that you would have gotten, as well as the registration one. If you got here to this webinar, you have that information in your inbox somewhere. You can search for it. Managing your inbox at the bottom. I learned this once. When you get an email, do it, delegate it, date it, or delete it. Says the girl with 14,000 things in her inbox. But this isn't mine. So when we talk about doing, we talk about creating folders. Maybe you create a folder that's like you're in your inbox, but your to-do or something, but be careful you don't forget about it. Easiest way to create a folder, right click. You can either have it appear inside your inbox or right click on your name. This is what I might recommend. Right click on your name, new folder, and then maybe I say something like saved emails. I can type. Now it goes down here. With the newer version, I think it's about the last 2 or 3 versions, you're actually able to move your folders around and not have to search so far for them. Otherwise, it puts them really wherever it wants. I'm going to right-click Saved Email. I'm going to say New Folder again, and I can do some subfolders. Travel, right-click. Everybody has to have a training folder. Because training is so important. If travel is more important than training, you can click on that travel folder and drag it up. This is beautiful. It lets us do this. It never used to before in the older versions. So I've got those there. Right click, new folder again if you want. I want to show you a couple of things when you're in your inbox. I bet you there was a lot of travel things in here, wasn't there? Remember all those ones that came up? There's one there, Travel Zoo. Let's say I really, really want to keep that one. You probably know you can just click and drag it to your travel, right? What if you have, like on my own email, I probably have about 30 or 40 folders. There's tons of folders. So sometimes it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to show you one more place here that you can do it. There's another travel zoo. Let's say I open it up and I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is a really good email. I want to save it right now. I'm going to show you how you can just drop it with this move button. This move button is in a whole bunch of different places. It saves you from doing any kind of dragging. It will move it into your travel folder. Do you think that all 35 of my folders are here? No. I could go other folder and it brings me up with this screen. This is kind of like the screen that was on the left-hand side. So I would be able to pick a different one from here. If I said, gee, I thought I had a travel folder, but I guess I don't. Or maybe I'm going to do one for Travel Zoo, just Travel Zoo. I can click on new and I can create a new folder this way as well. So that move button is actually really cool. Boom, done. Where else is that move button? There's a Travel Zoo. I can right click on it. There's move, same idea. I also have move on my main screen up here. So that move button is in a lot of places. The other thing that's in there is, in the move button, is always move messages in this conversation. And if I click on that, that's a really quick way to create a rule. So if I say always move it, now conversation is a word that describes the subject. So an example would be, let's say that I send an email out to all of you. Maybe the subject line is feedback for Outlook webinar. And hopefully each of you will hit reply, type some notes, and hit send. And I say it like that because I hope nobody goes new email, puts my name in it, and says feedback for today's session. That will have a different conversation, a different subject than all the rest. So it's like it's not gonna click. So this one is going to put everything having with subject line 2-for-1 tickets to Edmonton Fall Home Show this month. Not a very good example, is it? But sometimes if you send an email out to a whole bunch of people like that, you do want to funnel them back into one folder. Otherwise, as people are responding, they're getting mixed in with all the other emails that you receive in a day. So that's when we kind of get into the rules. So if I said all my Travel Zoo things, I always want them to go into travel. I'm going to do before here. There's only 2 things in my travel right now. One way that I could do it, if I don't want a rule for it, I could click on from, then I could go travel. And there's all my things. Wow. Here's an example of having it showing up 2 or 3 different times. There must be something different with their email address. Or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times. Somebody somewhere is subscribed to it. When you do that searching from thing, guess what it allows you to do? It allows you to go up to the top here. And when it says 70 items, I can hit my move and I can move it to travel. It says this is going to affect all the items in the group. Might take a second or 2. Or I could have done, I'll do it on this one. Let's say I don't care. Well, let's do it on these ones down here. News flashes. Let's say I don't care about the news flashes. Look at where my cursor is. It's just right across the top. And I can hit delete there. And it comes up and says, hey, this is kind of a special delete. This is going to delete everything in the selected group. Are you okay with that? Yes, I am. What a neat way to clean up your email as well. So drag some of the stuff. Maybe Uber, I want to keep all my travels, you can drag it. It's going to do it to everything. That one doesn't come up and ask you. Or you can click on it and press delete. So it allows you to clean it up. Wow, we're almost at the 14,000 mark. So what about this one though, about the rule? I want everything from Travel Zoo to go into there. So I'm going to go into the rules. And it allows me to do a little bit here. Always move messages from Travel Zoo. If I click on that, it'll come up with the screen and say where would you like them to go? And I could do that. But I want to show you, that's a kind of a really quick way to do it. There are a few more options, and that's with create rule. So that was rules and then create rule. I am not going in order in my book, but this is in there. All right. So do you want from Travelzoo or this subject contains thing? That was like the other thing with the conversation. I don't know if I would do it that way. And do I want just things sent to me? Or again, if this was a work group, then do I want anything having to do with this? What do I want it to do when it does this? Do I want to display a new alert window? Do I want it to come up and tell me what it's doing? Do I want to play a sound? Do I want to move it to a folder? Yeah, I want to move it to a folder. Travel. What other folder could you do here? I have an idea for you. Delete it. If you get an email, please be careful with this one. If you get an email that you never want to read, then you can have it go directly to your deleted items. Of course, then you have to go in and delete that, but there's even ways around that. What would an example be? I used to work somewhere where on Friday, they used to send an email out that said, we're cleaning out the fridge today. Go grab all your stuff. I never had anything ever in that fridge. I worked at that place for 6 years. How many emails would have come through? Every Friday morning, please clean out the fridge. So I grabbed one of them. I said, create rule. And the person who sent it out, I had to be careful here. I said from that person, but I also said subject contains fridge or something like that. So it had to do the two of them in that case. And then I never saw those fridge emails. The bad thing about that was if that person had ever sent an email that said something like, there's free food in the fridge, I would have missed that email. But then I would have maybe thought about having subject contains a little bit more specific. Like I could tell that she always went in and sent exactly the same email. So it always said, clean, it's Friday or something like that. Friday fridge clean or something you could put there. The advanced options here, well, let's pick that folder. Travel, advanced options. This is what you would have gotten from the other rules option if you would have went right into there. Look at all the things, right? You can specify all the things, specific words, as a category. Some of them really don't apply to us right now. These are all the conditions. And then if I go next, here's all the things that I can do. So remember the one I was talking about deleting? You could delete it and permanently delete it if you really wanted to. Please be careful with that one. You could forward it. If you were going on holidays or something, you could forward things with certain, maybe you get work requests. So forward everything with work request in the subject line to a specific person or group or something. You don't want everything forwarded, but be careful with that. Like just make sure that it's got the right thing and test it a little bit. Yeah. And then you can have some exceptions and you can name it. And this is kind of neat. I'm not going to do it because it'll take away from, it'll take a couple minutes to do it, but you can run it right now and it'll just clean your inbox up. So you might have some fun sitting at your Outlook after this course, creating some rules and running some rules. So I'm going to cancel that for now. So we're going to continue on here. There's also another little spot up here called Quick Steps. And it's kind of the same idea. I'm going to delete that one because that one was from my last session. And you can create some things up here. Like I had somebody ask me the other day, how do I create, like I just want one click and I want an email. I want it addressed to my group and I want the same subject line. Maybe it's a meeting reminder. Every week you have a meeting. And it's basically the same content. Once in a while, they threw something different in. But it's the same subject line, meeting this week. Maybe not a date on there because then, you open this up all the time. And it's got the subject on it that you always have to change. So if it's just random meetings, like, sometimes you meet on a Tuesday and sometimes you meet on a Thursday or something, then I would put the date in. But if it's every Friday morning you have that, then I wouldn't really do that. So quick steps, there's lots of ways to do it. You can look at your things here. What I do is this guy right here. So I don't know if you saw that. It's on the little more button. I click on it and I go new quick step. What would I like to do? Look at all the things. You could have a move to folder. The move to folder was just like what we talked about, but you would actually have to click on something and then click on the move to folder button. I think right click move is probably just as good, right? So I'm not going to spend any time on those ones because this isn't automatic and the rules are. So we're going to go here, new quick step. I'm going to do the one that the person was asking me about the other day, new email to. So this is meeting reminder to team. I want it to be a new message, and I would be able to put my person's name in here or my group name. If I click on to, then I don't have a lot in here. This person, here's a group. I don't know who's in that group, but I have a group in here. And then I can click on options and it comes up with more information. I can say show options, meeting this Friday, and I can flag it if I want so that they get reminders on it. I can put it as important. Please remember to bring your progress reports to this week's meeting or something like that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. You can edit this later if you wanted to say also, because the long weekend's coming up, make sure that you have coverage or something like that. I don't know. Notice here it says automatically send after 1 minute. Remember that fridge email? That fridge email was the same every week. So I don't think you can schedule it to go automatically. But this is what she did. She had a reminder set up every Friday morning to go. And I showed her how to do this. I showed her how to do a quick step. Oh, my reminder just went off, and it's just an appointment, a recurring appointment every Friday at 9 a.m. And then she would go up here and she would just click on lunch email. And she didn't have to do anything because she had it set up as automatically send after 1 minute delay. In other words, it gives you a minute to decide, is there anything in here? Like it'll come up for a minute, it'll let you see it, and then it goes. I am too scared to do that on anything, so I never put that on there, but that that fridge email would have been a great one. All right. You can put BCCs and CCCs on here if you want as well. Notice my 2 is not showing up here. I think there's a bit of a glitch in it. I'm going to hit save here, and I'm going to go on to it, and I'm going to go meeting reminder. I'm going to click on it, and it should bring me up with an email. Half of it worked. Half of it says, remember to bring your progress reports and the subject line, but it didn't keep my 2. And it's a little bit of a glitch. If I go onto that and right click on and edit it, I'm going to see here that there are 2 things on here, or it just didn't save it. It just didn't save it. But sometimes it's 2 things on here. So I think I had called it group. Yeah. Good. So now let's save it and see if it works. There we go. Now it's group. So just double check it, make sure that it worked, because I clearly put it in before and it got rid of it somehow. Nice. Experiment with the different ones. When I worked at that place for 6 years, I had one that was forward to. I had a forward to my boss button. So if I got an email in and I said, I want to forward this to my boss, I would click on it and I would click on my forward to boss button. And it would draft an email for me, have his name in it, have whatever it was forwarded underneath, and I would be able to type my information. Okay, so these ones create things for you. They're a little bit different than rules. Same idea to customize, but they're a little bit different. Quick steps. They came in about version 2010, I think. I want to talk about flagging a little bit. Flagging is fun. Let's say that I got a message from this person and I really don't want to forget to call them or whatever. We all get these messages. Please let me know by Friday or else it's too late. If I get it, I want to use the follow-up flag. Now the follow-up flag, these ones, what does tomorrow mean? At this time tomorrow? At 9 a.m. tomorrow? At 4 p.m. tomorrow? This week? What does this week mean? What does next week mean? My favorite one on here is add reminder. I'm going to click on add reminder and it'll come up with 3 dates. I can start to use those dates in my tasks if I want. This will show up in my tasks and I'll say, hey, how many things do I have to start today? You can use it for that. I just like it for a quick reminder so that as my emails, go down, I don't forget about anything. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, I would like, you know what, I don't have time today or tomorrow. I have webinars all day today and all day tomorrow. I would like to look at this email on Friday. Now look at the lovely time it gives me. 4 p.m. on Friday? Nope. I am not going to tackle anything new than 9 a.m. on Friday. Now it's going to come up at 9 a.m. on Friday. When I'm in Outlook, it'll come up with this email. So that's a super quick way to go in and flag it so that you don't forget about something. Okay, so we also have that button when we're in here. Oh yeah, this looks really good. I don't want to forget about it. Follow up, add reminder. The flag over here, the little bell there, it is also sortable. Remember talking about from and subject and received? So it would actually, if you clicked on that and then hit home, it would put all of the things that you have flagged at the top. Interesting concept, hey? Yeah. And I'm going to click on received and then hit home because that's where I want to be. I want to be at the top. Okay, so that's a little bit about flagging. Now, when we talk about sending something, new email, here's a fun thing. When we first get Outlook installed, we don't have a BCC field. Super quick. Options, BCC. Now it's there, right? So it'll stay there now. You don't ever have to worry about it. So blind carbon copy, I want somebody to know about it, but I don't want everybody else to know that I let that person know about it. When would you use that? Sounds like kind of a sneaky thing. Please use it when you're talking to the public. I had an email the other day where it was like, it wasn't from my gym, but let's say it was from my gym. And all the other members were up there in the to field. So guess what? I know where all those people go to the gym. It wasn't my gym, by the way, in case any of you are from my gym. It's not my gym. I love my gym. My gym would never do that. I would put all those people's names in the BCC field so that nobody else sees them. We have to be careful these days with all these privacy rules and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to be able to see the other people in the to or the CC, but not in the BCC. Good. The other thing about that is if I go in here, I put somebody's, some names in there and then I type it. Remember the flag? I can set a flag and it'll go on their end. If I set a flag, it will remind them on their end. So I can set a flag as I'm going along. Look at flag for recipients. So I'm going to send it. It's going to flag it for me on October, whatever that I decide. Maybe I, follow up on Friday. I send it today and then I follow up on Friday. Gee, Friday's a busy day. Not at 4 p.m. Fine, 4 p.m. But I can also flag it for my recipients. So all of a sudden, on the 10th maybe, on Thursday, they'll get this reminder of my email. Yeah. It's really fun to send this and then go on holidays and put a flag on while you're on holidays. So it's like, gee, we're not going to hear from her for 2 weeks. She's gone. Nope, gone. 3 days later, it'll come up with a flag if they're in Outlook. So that's kind of a little bit of a hidden one. I'm going to cancel that. The other thing about sent items, have you ever had a time where you sent something and, gee, I bet none of you have done this, forgot to attach the document? You're lying if you say you haven't. I bet every person has. I do it all the time. So I'm going to talk about resending sent messages. Also going to be talking about what if you want to, let's say you sent a message to somebody and then like the next day, somebody asks you almost exactly the same thing. You're like, oh, I just want to forward that message I sent to so-and-so. Forwarding gets a little yucky, has a little FW thing in front and has the header information from, you know, the original email and that kind of thing. I'm going to go into my sent items here, and I have sent a few. Let's say this person, James, double click on it. You know, this looked like a really important email for the Joanne that got it, right? So what I did is I hit reply and I said, I think you have the wrong Joanne. I've never heard back from this person. I sent it to all these people. I want you to pretend right now that you want to resend this email. Maybe taking off all the recipients and putting a new person on, or in the example I was talking about is like, oh shoot, I forgot to attach something. Now, if I hit forward, here's what I was talking about. Look at that big header at the bottom, and I'd probably, you know, have to delete all this. And what do I do, right? It's got the FW. It doesn't have anybody in the forward. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go over to actions, and I'm going to say resend this message. Don't worry, it's not going to go anywhere. I hit resend, wait a second, and it comes up with exactly the same email. So all those various scenarios I gave you, if I forgot to send these people the attachment, I could just go in and attach the file right now. Or in the other scenario, I could delete all these people, put my new person in here, and send it. I get asked all the time about Excel training. Thank goodness, because I do tons of Excel training. Someone will say, hey, Joanne, I got your name from so-and-so, or I found you on the internet. My company is interested in Excel training. Can you give me some information? I go into my sent. I have in my head whose email would be really good. Like, oh, that was just like that company ABC. Okay, I go in my sent. I search for company ABC. Yes, this is the original one that I sent them. Double click on it. I can't see it now because I'm in it. Double click on it. Actions, resend. And it drafts another one exactly the same up. And you have to be careful of. Hi, Esther. How are you? Thank you for requesting the information on Excel training. Oh my goodness, you have to still proofread it. Don't get sucked in on these auto things. Don't say I didn't warn you. So it's really good for those kinds of things. And I just got a comment here that use recall. Now recall is a little bit goofy. Recall only works half the time. And that half the time, not even a half the time, I might say a quarter of the time, internal use only, not external. And the person is aware that you tried to recall it. If that doesn't set up red flags, I'm not sure what does. And in the case, Sandra, I'm assuming that you're talking about the idea of forgetting an attachment, maybe. I would do this too, like, oh shoot, as soon as I hit send, oh no, I didn't, or somebody will email and say, hey, there was nothing attached. Bite the bullet, man. Go back in and say resend. Sorry, here's the attachment. Boom. Sometimes I'll modify the subject line, ignore first one, or this one has the attachment or something like that. Just so they're like, they get back from a meeting and they have, 20 emails and there's your 2 right there. They probably don't have to even read the first one of yours. They would, if you said ignore the first one, most people are curious and would open it anyway. but that's your way of trying to save some time. Those subject lines are so good. Now, Claire is mentioning she's missing the action button. You have to be inside the email. Double click on the email. So if you're sitting at this screen, you're not going to have the actions button. And I don't even think it's on the right click. No, I don't see it. So double click on it. And you know what? This is one of the reasons I don't like that reading pane. It forces me to double click and open things up. So a couple other things, the bottom of page 2, we're not progressing through the book here very much, but like I said, I'm kind of going all over the place here. One of the things I just thought of here, remember when we were talking about moving things around, and I do want to talk for a few minutes about the calendar. But if this person said, hey, I want to show you this property at 2 o'clock tomorrow, it's nice when people send us meeting requests, because when we hit accept, they just go right into the calendar, but it doesn't always happen for whatever reason. This is how you can quickly get something into your calendar. So when I double click on this one, I want to show you what it's all about first. Okay, oh man, nice house. I want to go, see this house. The realtor just texted me and said, let's go at 2 o'clock on Thursday. Okay, good, perfect. How can I get that on my calendar? I could go down to calendar. I could go on to Thursday, 2 o'clock. I could do an appointment. Oh, what's the address, right? Or I could take the email and I could drag it to the calendar. And look what it does. It will create me an appointment. It doesn't know what time it is. I still have to go here, tell it Thursday at 2. Tell whenever, but look what it does. It puts the email in the bottom. Isn't that cool? And the subject line of the appointment is the subject line of the email. I might be good to go after I did my start time. I could hit save and close and it would be in my calendar. Okay. I could have dragged it, put it in my tasks, and it would have created a task for me the same way. I could just go in and modify it. One of my favorite things. Now, does anybody notice what's wrong with this email? Does it look as nice? Hey, wasn't there a picture? Which house am I seeing here? Oh no. Wasn't there a picture? Yes, there was a picture. When I drag it, it seemed to have lost the picture. Here's a little trick for you. I'm not going to save the changes. I'm going to go back to that same email and I'm going to right click and drag to my calendar, and it asks me a whole bunch of things. The first one, copy here as appointment with text. That's basically what it did when I did my left click and drag. Most of the time, or some of the time, that's going to be okay for you. Do you want it to be as an attachment? Now, attachment isn't like a Word document or a PDF or a picture or something. That's not what attachment means here. This is actually the one that I want. Notice it says move. Do you want to take it out of your inbox? Probably not. Do you want it as a meeting request? I'm going to say copy here as appointment with attachment. And the attachment is going to be the email itself. That's my attachment. So I can still do the same thing here. I can set it up for Thursday at 2 or whatever. And if I want to see, I can click on it. It'll look a little different when I do it, but now I can open it. So yes, it's an extra step, but it contains all the cool stuff that was in it before. I love that door. If you don't think that's cool, then you probably haven't been using your calendar, or you haven't been creating appointments out of your emails, right? Hey, can we meet this week sometime? Yeah, let's meet on Friday. Okay, drag. Again, a meeting request is a little bit better than that. I love meeting requests. I'm going to go into this one that I sent to a whole bunch of people, and it doesn't like to give them to me. Let's say I like this one to use as an example. That was James's. This one that I did, it has a whole bunch of people on it. I want you to pretend for a minute this is an incoming one. It doesn't have to be. It could be a sent one, but it's probably more applicable if it's an incoming one. You know what? We really need to meet. We really need to meet. I want to meet with James and Victoria and Victory Marine and whatever. I want to meet with all these people. What am I going to do? I'm going to go and create a meeting request and add these people. No, I'm not. I'm going to hit this meeting button. Look what this is going to do. This is going to create a meeting for me with all those people, including me. And it puts the email up here so that I can refer to it. We really need to discuss this. Blah, blah, blah. That's half of it. That is just like going to my calendar and hitting new meeting and putting all these people's names in and maybe copying and pasting and stuff like that. So much easier with a meeting. I've even done this with two people, one me and one other person. How do you know that these people are going to be free at this time? You know, you shouldn't just go in and say, you know, Monday, are you guys free on Monday at 11? Boom, send. I'm going to click on scheduling assistant. Now, if any of you are home office or users like me, you're going to get a screen like this. It's not too exciting. What I'm going to do is go and show you. I did a screen print of a Google image that I found. This is what people's screens could look like. So Samantha is probably the organizer of this meeting because I can see what she's got going on. Kathy and Susie and Jamie, they're probably all in the same meeting. They're in a meeting on this day at 4 o'clock already. If I said, well, let's move it forward. Oh, well, Susie is purple. Look at the little legend down here. Susie is out of the office. Maybe she's got a dentist appointment. She's out of the office. You know what? I don't care. Let's have it at 11 o'clock anyway. She can catch up, or she knows about this stuff. So this is a great way to see who's available. If you're saying, oh, maybe I should do it at 12. Look, it looks like everybody's busy. Hey, I have something at 12. So I would scroll through here, and if this was a live screen, I could click on that and go to the right, and I could see everybody's calendars. And the nice thing about that is that you don't have to set it up that, oh, in order to do that, I need to give all these people my access to my Outlook. No, you don't. As a default, everybody has what they call free/busy availability access. Now, I couldn't have gone in, I'll switch back to that screen print. I couldn't have gone in and say, oh, what does Susie have at that time? I can't see. She's just blocked it out. If Susie and I worked together and we went in to do the extra steps of giving each other access, yes, I would be able to see it, just like I can see a little bit here. I'd be able to see dentist appointment or whatnot. So please don't think, oh my goodness, I didn't know that everybody had access to my calendar. Does everybody know how we got in there? I could add a name right here. Boom, it would go, right? So you can go in there and you can add a name. I'm going to close that because I really don't want to send that to those people. I don't even know them. And I'll go back to my Outlook. Speaking of contacts, love this option. If I like this person, I want to put them in. I'm going to hit right click. I'm going to go add to Outlook contacts. And it comes up and asks me a whole bunch of information. Now, this is a different screen than it was before. In the older versions, I got this nice big screen. I could put notes and a whole bunch of things. Not really big fan of this screen, but it's nice because I could hit save if I wanted and close it out. Now, here's a little trick. You can hit save and close it out if you're done with it. But this little thing where it says view source, Outlook contacts is a link. If I click on it, it takes me to that nice big lovely screen that I was talking about before. I love this screen because you know what I do? Blah, 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 blah. I go down to my notes and I type a whole bunch of things. I might even go in and categorize them. Then I can save and close it. There was a question, if you have to go, the booklet, you should have got a booklet when you received the link. I'll put it in the follow-up email as well. You'll be getting a copy of this webinar so that you can watch it over again if you want. Okay. Last thing I'll show you here, and then there'll be maybe a minute or so for questions. I'm going to go new email. If you've got somebody in your email that you send to lots, let's say Jennifer, let's say I send to her lots. I don't always have to go click and find her. If I send to her lots, she's probably, when I go JEN, she's probably right there. Okay. Now, some of you work for really big companies. You're not going to always have, right? Jennifer, she just started here. She's in our team. You're going to go Jen, and it's not going to come up. So what I want to show you, and this is even for the people who don't work in the big companies, Jen, and then there's this check names button. The shortcut key is Control K. This Control K has been around forever. It will bring you up certain matches. So JEN brought up a couple of Jennas and a Jennifer. And I can say, oh, there she is. Let me do that again. If I type JENNI, Control K, don't even need to go in it. So if there's people in your list that you know, type the first part of their name and Control K. And it doesn't even have to be their first name. ANU, no, I must have misspelled that. What was Jennifer's last name? Jen, let's use James, Q-U-A-R, Q-U-A. Control K. I bet I didn't even have to do that much on that last name. That was probably so unique that I probably could have just done Q and Control K. But if there had been a Q in anybody's name, then it would have come up with that list. That's probably one of my favorite tips. Control K. So that's in there as well. Any quick questions from any of that? You'll be getting a recording of this, so you can go through it and try things on your own if you want. Please check out my webinars in case you want to take. We have an Excel level 1 and a Word level 1 starting on October the 23rd. They're 6 hours, 1 hour a week. So it's just like what you have today. It's actually in this time slot. So if this time slot worked well, the Excel one is in the morning and the Word one is in the afternoon. You won't be sorry if you took the Word one. It's not like basic. Maybe the first one might be basic, but we work at setting tabs and margins and putting headers and footers on and all that kind of thing as well. And you may wonder how you survived without taking that course. It's a very, very good course, and the Excel level 1 as well. On the front page of my website, www.knowitsooner.com, it lists the other ones that I have. All of the ones that you see there, they're all recorded. You can jump in anytime, watch the recordings, then jump onto the live ones, or simply just watch the recordings whenever you want. Okay. I'm glad that you liked the tips. I'm getting some feedback here. That's fantastic. We'll probably send you a little email asking you for some feedback. And yeah, certainly contact me if this has been good for you, or your person, whoever handles training in your organization, and they can contact me. Will there be more coming Outlook? Not sure about that. There's like an Outlook Advanced. Might be able to fill an hour with some Outlook Advanced things. I've got it on my list. My priority right now is an Advanced Excel. That's the one that I'm working on right now for January. So Bonnie, if there's specific things in Outlook that you want covered, you know, send them in and we'll take a look and we'll see what we can do. Okay. And of course I do these for privately, companies, if you wanted, you know, your whole organization. These are the things that we want covered. we can do it. You know, it just wouldn't be on a public session like this. And there would probably be a charge for that, not a free one like today. Just trying to get the word out about my webinars. So we threw a free one on today.